I'm very intentional when I do things as well, because you've got to be, and you're leading the team, you're responsible. I used to be in car sales before, and I was earning really good money actually. I was one of the top sales guys. Everything was going really well for me. It's been a great journey, but the issue is I had to be there to make the money. So it was like every month, it was always starting on the blank canvas. I got a bit tired and unmotivated and a little bit burnt out, because I realised that we all have a different purpose, we all have different values, and there's only one Shaun Davis. No one can be me better than me. I want to be unique. Remember, people buy from you because of you. Treat the business as a career path. It was more financial security for me. It's like a weird feeling where I need to go out there, and it's almost like it wasn't passive enough for me. I'd say.
Welcome to the Diaries of Success. In today's episode, we're going to touch base on one of the major areas in property, which is HMO versus service accommodation. But more precisely, is one area in rent to rent that we're going to touch base on. And my guest today has more than 400 tenants altogether. And this is shocking. It's crazy to manage. So we're going to talk with him on how he's managed to do all that. Well, without any further ado, I'm honored and pleased to be having Shaun Davis with me. Hi, Shaun.
Hey, how you doing? Okay.
Not bad. How you doing?
I'm good, thanks.
Thank you for being with me on the show.
Pleasure to be here.
Thank you. Well, so who's Shaun Davis? I know so many people in my audience are questioning. So who's Shaun Davis?
Yeah, so I'm a CEO of Urban Homes, run a property company, specialising in rent to rent is our main strategy, but the actual business is social housing. That's been interesting, been a great journey, 4.5 years into that now.
Wow.
And then I'm also the founder and host of the High Performance Academy, which is like a private mastermind group as well.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So apart from business, how's your lifestyle?
Yeah, well, I've got 2 kids as well. Yeah,
that's
2
beautiful.
kids, so they keep me really busy. I've got a boy and a girl. I'm also a drummer as well.
A drummer?
Yeah.
Oh, well, thank God you said that, because we're gonna get you to play a game later on, and we'll see if you're if you're the triple threat or not. Great. So, how did you get into social housing?
Right. Okay. Yeah, that's a good question. So, started off doing rent to rent, just like working professionals. In fact, rewind it back. I started off doing SAs to start off with. That was my very first strategy. I realised I didn't really want to continue scaling that. I decided in lockdown I was going to give the properties back and just really double down and focus on HMOs. I was a bit more passionate about HMOs. I thought it was a little bit more security as well. And then we just started doing HMOs, scaled that to around 150 rooms, and then decided that I wanted to get into social housing. But social housing, there's a lot of paperwork involved. There's a lot of hoops you've got to jump through. You're dealing with the council, dealing with the local authority. Every local authority is different as well, so it can be a bit of a headache. And in lockdown, obviously had all the time in the world to sort of knuckle down and really get to grips with what social housing was, what it entails, the risk involved, the challenges. And just started just that's what I wanted to do. And yeah, we just did it.
So before we get into the challenges, you've gave us a little bit of a bigger story.
Yeah.
What was it that said to you, I am no longer interested in SA?
Yeah.
Was it that it was not challenging anymore?
Yeah, so funnily enough, SA worked really well for me. Now, I used to be in car sales before I did this.
Ooh.
So I used to work for BMW. Well, in fact, I worked for Ford. I worked for BMW, so I was in car sales for 7 years. And I was earning really good money, actually. I was one of the top sales guys. Everything was going really well for me. But the issue is I had to be there to make the money. And it was like a weird feeling where I used to get a low basic, but your commission in that industry can be like 3 times your basic.
Wow.
Sometimes 4 times your basic in a year. And so it was like every month, it was always starting on the blank canvas. Every month. So it's almost like that. I think I almost feel like I had PTSD when I done sold SAs, because it was like, every month I'd have a really good month, had all these bookings, but guess what? February would come like next month.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, okay, we haven't got no bookings. Now it's almost like I got this feeling of like, I need to go out there, and it's almost like it wasn't passive enough for me. Whereas HMOs on the other side, it's a lot more better. It's a lot better because you get the tenants, they're there for minimum 6 months. And it felt like it was more financial security for me. And I felt like I wasn't always chasing that next booking. It's different now. I am actually, funnily enough, we can talk about that. I'm looking to get back into SA and do it abroad in Dubai as well. But it's better now because I've got a decent portfolio of HMOs. So that's like my security. So now I've got my mindset's in a different place. I'm not Whereas back then I was sort of depending on that money. Whereas now I've got like almost like a comfort blanket with the HMO. So it's a different mindset.
That's beautiful. So do you think now SA and HMO walk hand in hand, or do you think they're completely separate?
I think, I think they're completely separate. Definitely completely separate. The way you acquire the properties, like the rent-to-rent strategy, in terms of acquiring them, is very similar. But the strategy, the day-to-day run-ins, I feel like SA, there's so much more involved in it. You got to think of every time there's a new guest, you got to think, okay, you know, they don't understand how to use things, you know, so the hospitality aspects, the customer service aspect has to be there.
Yeah.
Also, the turnaround. You know, the cleaning team is absolutely crucial. If you haven't got a good cleaning team in SAs, like, you might as well kiss goodbye to the business. It's gonna affect your reviews. That then affects repeat business as well. There's so many different cogs to turn, and then you've got the issue of parties as well. That's another issue to try and mitigate as well. Whereas HMOs, it's a difference. The only one thing I like about SAs is you get paid up front. Whereas with HMOs, if a tenant decides, and we've recently had this, if a tenant decides they don't want to pay you, actually there's not really much you can do about it other than go for the legal action, take them to court. But that whole process, which I've just experienced, is a nightmare. And you know, the law system in this country as well is a joke as well. So as a landlord, or as someone who's renting rooms, you get, you know, you almost like you get penalised, and you cost you thousands of pounds if a tenant decides they don't want to pay you. So that's the biggest risk on the HMO side, I'd say.
So there are pros and cons for both of them.
Yeah, 100%.
Where do you think the pros are more? Because now just trying to summarize what you just said, right? SA, which stands for Service Accommodation. For those who don't know, Service Accommodation is where you actually have your property on the different platform portals, such as Airbnb, Booking.com, Verbal. For now, it's becoming very popular. So rather than having a long-term tenant, you're operating just like a hotel, and you're having your guests stay for a short period of time. Whether they're internationals, they're visiting your city, or they're just being there for a short period of time. Now HMO, which stands for House of Multiple Occupancy, is the strategy that you prefer the most, rather than service accommodation, is where you actually have a long-term tenant, minimum 6 months, and that tenant is staying, he's with you, they're using their that house or that room as their permanent property address. Now, after you've tried both of them, you decided that you wanted to go for HMO. And stick with HMO, because HMO, you saw there is more benefit to it.
More benefits, yeah. So I feel like, funnily enough, SAs has more. I feel like SAs is more lucrative. There's more scope to earn more money. Especially in the summer months, you can really kill it in the summer months. Whereas HMOs, you're sort of capped with your earnings. There's no way really to sort of earn more money. However, though, what for me, financial security is the biggest thing. And I feel like as well, and I realised actually through lockdown that HMOs is actually, I think, is a bulletproof model, because people will always need a roof over their head. And then if there's another lockdown or COVID again, or some other sort of, world crisis, the hospitality sector gets affected massively, whereas it doesn't really affect the HMO market. And actually as well, we've never been busier. With the amount of inquiries we're getting on HMOs is crazy. And it's because of this energy crisis, because of the cost of living crisis. It's never seemed better to actually share facilities, share a bathroom, share a kitchen, and just rent a room in order to lower your bills.
So people are downsizing, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
And now I'm sure you've had some challenges in the HMO. Tell me about one or two that you actually had. Just looks like, from the bigger picture, it looks like, oh, it's all amazing.
Exactly.
It's like a shiny penny, just shouting, oh yeah, just try me as a strategy. Whereas we do have some backstories. Not a lot of people tell you about them. Like, not a lot of people tell you what happens in the background, but it's definitely all worth it, because
100%.
Business is business, isn't it?
100%.
So tell me about a time where you had it all wrong.
Yeah, well, you know what? I can tell you, like, a common thing that happens a lot is theft. you got to imagine like you're sharing the kitchen with other people. Someone runs out, and it's like even like big things. It's like something silly, like I don't know, someone's run out of milk. So they think, rather than going to the shop and going, they're too lazy, I'm hungry, I'm rushing for work, let me just go and take so-and-so's, we'll take John's out of the fridge. And it's like, I mean, obviously John then calls the office kicking off saying, someone stole my milk or someone stole my bread. It's the last bread I had. And they get really emotional. So it's dealing with that aspect. That's like a very common thing. The second thing is cleanliness. That is the biggest thing. Sharing the kitchen and bathroom. It's obviously, two very intimate things. Not many people like, where you're washing yourself. It's like, it's a very intimate thing. You want it to be clean. Yeah. And not everyone has the same hygiene levels. So that's a constant battle that we deal with across the board. And we're very strict now when we vetting tenants. We ask them, like, we tell them straight, like, what's she like in terms of hygiene and cleanliness, because if you're not clean, if you're going to use the bathroom or the kitchen, you're not going to clean after yourself. That's going to be a massive issue. In fact, it's going to almost cause us to evict you, because it's going to cause us headache, and the other tenants going to start moaning. Yeah. So that's like a constant challenge. One of the things that we do to sort of mitigate that risk is we put cameras in the communal areas now of the properties. So that sort of helps out. And we also put cameras facing towards the bathroom as well in the communal area. So if there is an issue, because of course, you know what it's like with people, we have like WhatsApp groups as well for the tenants. And we do that because the tenants can sort of communicate between themselves and they can sort of solve their own issues as well. Because in the day, we're not their parents. They're fully gone at this, but sometimes they think we are. And so they sort of communicate between themselves. But then, of course, it's always a case of, well, I didn't do that. And it's like, okay, well, if no one did it, who did? So the cameras, it sort of mitigates that. And if there is an ongoing issue, we can just sort of check the cameras and sort of solve the problem that way. The other issue, touch wood, I've only ever had this once, actually. I'm very grateful that out of 4.5 years in business, we've only had this once. Usually, when a tenant decides they can't pay, let's say they lose their job or the circumstances change, they'll just leave gracefully. They might do a runner, they might owe you like a bit of rent, which I don't mind. They'll just go. Yeah. But I had one tenant, and he just decided that he's not gonna pay me. And by the way, he's got no intention of leaving. So this was the first time in 4.5 years, and you know what? It caused me so much stress. I can't lie to it. It absolutely sleepless nights of this one tenant, and it wasn't even about the money. So he owed me £5,000. Wow. Yeah, which is a lot of money.
How did it escalate all the way? Because the council are not going to kick him out, is it?
The council won't kick. In fact, he called the council. The council said, "Whatever you do not leave." Because I was like threatening him to leave. I was like, look, we're gonna have to serve an eviction notice. But with me, I'm the sort of guy where I will always try and compromise. Yeah. So I was trying to sympathise. I was trying to see things from your perspective. So I'll be like, maybe you're going through some financial difficulties. Yeah. I know he was drinking a bit of alcohol and this, that, and the other, and he had a few other personal issues as well. So trying to really sympathise with him, trying to give him solutions. That's what we are as entrepreneurs. We give solutions to problems. He wasn't having none of it. None of it. I even offered to help him move. I can facilitate whatever you need facilitating. I will facilitate it. Yeah. He just wanted to lodge in that house and complain. But not only that, the main issue was the havoc he was causing, and there's nothing I can do about it. So you got to think, he's not paying me rent, but he ain't keeping quiet at the same time. So he's having parties, he's having, he's bringing people around, like in these people, like, homeless people. This is a working professional house where I've even got a doctor in that house. And he's bringing these people around. He's using the bathroom and not cleaning up. He's just not bothered about anything. So I had about 6 months of distress, and unfortunately what happened is it caused me to lose a lot of other tenants. So also what happens when you get one bad apple in the house, and it just, all the good apples end up leaving. Yeah. And then you left that one bad apple. So it came to the point where this is a 7-bedroom house. It came to the point where I only had just him and one other person. And because he was like, and literally this is so bad that if anyone watching, don't let this put you off getting into it, because you can't avoid these issues. And you know what? I've learned so much, even about myself, about he's taught me how to manage my emotions, and it's all these other things. I mean,
these kind of things, they always come as a lesson. And whoever is listening to us today and watching us through YouTube, I'm sure they will learn this because they want to avoid it in the future. So
100%.
I mean, just
100%. So where did I get to now? Yeah, so basically at one point I only had like one other person in that house. So, but then that person was like threatening not to pay me because he was like, you know, I can't live in this house, and it was just, the house was just a total mess. And the issue was, I couldn't really refill the other bedrooms because how can I refill the other bedroom? There's got all these homeless people literally lodging in the house. That's how bad it was. They was literally sleeping in the house. But the mad thing is, there's nothing I could do about it because you can't kick them out. Yeah, you know, the police won't help you. You can't kick him out.
Civil matter.
Yeah, it's a civil matter. So we just had to just go through the court, which took absolutely ages. But the lesson that I've learned, and the lesson that it's taught me is be quick, be very quick. As soon as you see the cracks in a tenant, serve notice and evict them.
Yeah.
Like, whereas with me, I was way too sympathetic. I let it ride for too many months. And the reason why I let it ride for too many months is because I'm usually very good with negotiation. I'm usually very good with providing a solution. And I thought that with this tenant, it was really weird because I even offered to like help him pay, like help financially for, even though you owe me money, just because it would have been a cheaper process for me to, rather than me go through courts and that whole process and getting eviction specialists and bailiffs, and that cost me like $2,000 there. So to actually on $7,000 there.
Yeah.
So it would have been cheaper for me to just pay him off essentially to leave, but that wasn't good enough either. So yeah, so it was a massive lesson really.
Do you think that could have been avoided?
Yeah. So with me, and one of the things that I'm very big on is accountability and responsibility. I feel like in life, you need to be accountable for your own actions.
Yeah. And
I believe that everything that happens to me happens for me, not to me. And it's just the outlook on life. So in every situation, I think to myself, right, where did I go wrong in this? Yeah, he's not paying me. Yeah, he's been nice, but where did I go wrong in this? And looking back, I could see that we dropped the ball a little bit when it came to, because he moved in, I think it was like the start of lockdown where things were very, very tough. No one was really moving. It was that hard to fill rooms back in COVID. We was literally given like a month rent-free period. So a month rent-free just to fill the rooms, so to get people in. And looking back, because he moved in that time, we didn't do, his credit file, it showed we shouldn't have let him in anyway.
Yeah.
But because he sort of sold us the dream, essentially, and because we just wanted to help people out at that time as well, because it was a time where we was helping people out. He was homeless, and we said, you know what, let me be the good Samaritan, basically.
Yeah.
Let me do a good deed help this guy, give this guy a chance. And man, it bit me back. So essentially, the big lesson for me is just not cutting corners. And now our process is like so good now in terms of it's a big risk. Yeah. It's a vigorous process in terms of actually vetting tenants, and so hopefully that won't happen again.
To be honest with you, I can relate.
Yeah, you're the same as well.
Oh yes, I've had so many situations. Well, not as intense as you.
Yeah.
But sometimes you cannot avoid it. When you have over 100 properties in your portfolio, you can't avoid it.
It's inevitable, isn't it?
Yes, and us being people with, sometimes we work with our hearts, and you're like, you know what, maybe, or just maybe, or sometimes because we work with the council themselves, they put certain tenants in your property. They give you, we're taking care of everything, but when it comes to getting them out, they're like, no, we can't do much.
Exactly.
And you're like, but you said that you're going to, we said we're going to take care of the rent, but we didn't say how the behavior is going to be. To be honest with you, I've had a situation, well, it's still an ongoing situation, where a tenant, I think she has some sort of mental health problems. But because these kind of things are very private, when they come with a disability, they just inform you that they just tell you, I'm receiving like PIP or like just some sort of disability, but you don't really want to know exactly because it's very personal. It turned out that it's a mental disability, and she's very, very, very sensitive to sound. So you could be, I don't know, just eating a sandwich, she'll tell you you're just chewing loud. You could be like, the TV could be off and she's telling you like so I've had this situation. She's a lovely person, she pays on time, she never really, she's never late, but the fact that her antisocial behavior becomes very aggressive towards others, and everyone else in the building are just afraid of who she is, to a point where a mom actually, her had to take her daughter to the psychologist
Well, okay.
due to the trauma but then we contacted the council. The council said, "Oh, can you not do this? Can you not do that?"
Yeah.
And we've added, proof in like sound systems, and we've added like insulation. We've added a lot of things in the property, but it's still not enough.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh, when they're flushing the toilet, I could hear it." And I'm like, how do you want them to flush the toilet?
Yeah, it's bad.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is how bad it is. But it is what it is.
Yeah,
I mean, even though her file is clean, she pays on time. She's not having any problem apart from her antisocial behavior. It's got to a point where now we have the police come in. We have the council from different departments come in, the antisocial behavior department. So literally, it's just going crazy. But what can we do? So sometimes it's inevitable.
It's inevitable. But like, I always say, like, you can't expect all upside and no downside.
Yeah.
Every upside has a downside, and every downside has an upside to it as well. So I feel like it's getting into and that's just business in general.
Yeah.
All business from the time you're dealing with people, you're going to have issues. Like, it's just like accepting it and almost embracing it and just working out, okay, how can we make the best out of this situation?
Well, tell me another bad thing. Let's spoil our audience today. We're always telling them what can go right and how amazing it is.
Yeah, man. I'm trying to think, man. There's so many things that go wrong. One of the things that I would say, actually, in terms of advice, there's always like a little things that go wrong. But one of the things that I would say, and one of the things that we've implemented in the business now, is we always vet our tenants very vigorously. And what I mean by that is we Google them as well. Google, we Facebook, and as a rule of thumb, if we Facebook them, if they've got a wad of cash, next to the
yes,
a wad of the cash or the smoke and the weed.
Yes,
we don't want them sort of people in our property. They're going to be a nightmare. They're going to cause you stress. They're going to bring the wrong people, the wrong crowd to the door. And we've had like someone who we realised after, and luckily we was able to sort of manage him out of the property. But it turns out we just before we started the process, he was doing some weird things and just causing havoc in the house. And anyway, one day I decided, let me just Google this guy and just see. Anyway, I realised that he was like a stalker. He jumped out and sorted his partner, and he had a restraining order. And then he hid behind the post box. All this, yeah. I was thinking, oh man, he's in his house with the other females, and if he becomes attracted to one of these females, it's game over.
Yeah.
And he was just doing weird things. So the stuff that he was sort of going on with in the house, when I Googled it, I was like, oh god, this is a nightmare. So then we had to sort of manage him out essentially as well. Yeah, because it just proves that you really have to just sort of do your due diligence on the tenants.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much for sharing that.
Yeah, no problem.
No, okay, let's bring them on the high. What are the good things that have happened in HMO?
The good things are, I'll probably say, what the way I like to explain it, I don't like to use the word passive income, because sometimes we use the word passive. Passive means you don't do anything for it. But I think HMOs is semi-passive.
Yeah.
For instance, last year, I always tell a story. I've got a house in Coventry. Last year, I personally went there twice last year because I've got it that systemized. And it's not even I've got my team going there. It's like the cleaners go there every couple of weeks. They do their checks, check the smoke alarms and all the other rest of the other stuff. And I only went there twice. It basically runs itself. So that's the great thing about it. Semi-passive. You can literally. I was in Dubai, sitting on the beach. And I had tenants moving out. I closed another tenant. I got a reservation fee sent. Cleaner went in and cleaned the property. Checked in the other tenant. I was sitting on the beach in Dubai. So that's how crazy like the game
envy
is.
You. I really do.
And one of the great things is something that I've implemented. And this will be great for anyone that's looking. I don't know if you did this as well. Ever since COVID. When obviously we didn't really, like when it first happened, we didn't really understand it, and we thought, well, how infectious this thing. So I started to become like a bit cautious. Probably only the first couple of weeks, extremely cautious. I was thinking, oh, how's it going to work moving forward? I'm obviously going to be exposed to a lot of people moving in, and I need bums on beds essentially. That's the way. So you run the business, and I'm here to make money, and so what I did, and this has been a game changer for the business, and I've still got this to this day. In every household of a HMO, you always have a tenant that's a little bit passionate, a little bit. He likes to report the issues, but he's also very interested in the house. He likes to get involved. He likes to. He'll almost offer to like do things himself and very proactive. So what I do now in every household, and I was implementing this in lockdown, I almost basically hire them as a head tenant. That's their title.
Yes.
So their job is essentially, and what I do, they get a reduction in the rent each month, and they also get paid like per job.
Yeah.
So in lockdown, it was great. I had them doing viewings for me.
Viewings, yeah.
And how great is this? Because what happens, they do the viewings, and because they're in the end of the day, they're living in the house, not me.
Yeah.
So they ain't gonna want, So they ain't gonna want someone who's gonna be a bit weird, a bit of a weirdo, a bit like just not gonna gel with everyone else. They're gonna do probably a better job of choosing than me. I'll do all of my background checks. I'll make sure it stacks on paper. Yeah. That is tenants, right? But face to face, they can see the energy, they can meet the person.
Yes.
And also as well, they can actually give the tenant an honest review as well of the house. So it's a game changer on both sides, and also fix and arrange or facilitate anything that needs doing as well. So that has been a game changer in terms of working remotely. And I've implemented that, and it literally saved me so much time and resources.
Yeah, I mean, the sourcing and outsourcing things is very important.
100%,
I mean, when you first start, obviously, you might be a one-man band. Try to do everything yourself. You're doing the viewings, you're collecting the keys, you're doing the signing, and trying to maybe, assembling, disassembling wardrobes and beds. I've done that. I don't know about you, but, once you are at the start time, you're just trying to do everything yourself. But once you scale, or if you want to properly scale, you need to replace yourself 100%. In the business.
That's
so
crucial.
Let's talk about how you actually scaled and what was how did it happen? Any people part of your team or
so a big lesson that I've learned. So one of the good things of our business was, I don't know if you use this, like in lockdown there was a something called the Kickstart Scheme. So the Kickstart Scheme was a fantastic scheme. Actually, it was transformational, because the way it worked is the government you'd basically pay to find these people, as long as it's on universal credit. You better get these these
incentives.
Let's say tenants. Then you get these people in who become your employees. You pay them, and you have to claim some of the money back off the government.
Okay.
So we did that to start off with. It was good because obviously you was getting people that was not in work. I mean, in work, so he was obviously helping unemployment as well. So I thought to myself, you know what, that's a good thing to do, helping people. These people are young as well, because they couldn't be, I think it was like up to 22. So to start off with, we did that, and we sort of scaled the team using like that sort of method, and it worked great. But I realised very quickly that just being a nice person and having a good attitude, sometimes that's not enough. Well, not even sometimes. A lot of the time, it's not enough, because you need people that has the right skills.
Yeah.
In order to move your business forward. So I found that when we had almost unqualified people in the business, and we just hired them because they was a good person, essentially, it didn't actually help the business. And what really helped the business massively was that in the start of 22, I made a decision that, you know what, we need to sort of revamp the team.
Yeah.
And it was good because we sort of scaled. And I've sort of got a bit tired and a bit burnt. I was feeling a bit unmotivated, a little bit burnt out, but I realised that I was doing too much hand holding, essentially, because I couldn't leave these people to their own resources I needed a leader, essentially. I needed leaders. I needed people that could think on their feet, use initiative, had an actual passion for the business, and actually want you to treat the business as a career path for them. Yeah. Not just a bit of like it's just a bit of a part-time job, something I'm doing just to get myself back on my feet. I need people that are passionate. So start 2022, decided to revamp the business. And the conversation on the interviews was very different. It was more like, okay, like I'm going to not paying minimum wage no more. I'm paying proper salary. Yeah. These people, I'm really going to see them. I'm not going to see these staff as a cost. I'm going to see them as an investment. So it's different shift in mindset as well. And then the conversation is really simple. This is where we are. This is where we're going. What skills do you have right now to get me there? What can you, if I hire you today, what can you do? Not in 6 months' time. What can you do tomorrow morning that's going to help us get there quicker? And it was just a massive shift. Beforehand, it was like, oh, you're a nice guy. You're a nice girl. You've got a good attitude. I'm like, oh yeah, you got the job. Like, so
Yeah.
it was a different shift in mindset, and I've realised that has been transformational. And from last year, so you can imagine, like the first 3 years, it took me 3 years basically, like 2.5 years to sort of scale the business to 150 rooms. Last year, we took on in 1 year, not even 1 year, it was actually around 9 months. We'd done about 200 rooms.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just hiring the right person.
Hiring the right people. Yeah. Just literally hiring competent people that already have the skills. Because what then allowed me, to actually work on the business, not in the business. And that was like the switch for me. And I realized before, the reason why we only scaled, 150 rooms are decent, but I was never happy with it. I knew that I could do better. But the issue is, I was working in the business. I was literally doing everything. And not only that, I then had to like manage the staff and check over their work. And if the work wasn't right, I'd have to redo it.
Yeah.
So it's almost like I was wearing so many hats. It was just crazy. That has been like, the big game changer in the business. And it certainly helped us, scale. I'm looking forward to, what we do this year as well.
To be honest, I'm really loving this conversation because it's showing me exactly the journey I've gone through.
Yeah.
And it's simple sometimes, just to think about growth, where when you look back, you forget about what you have gone through.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
And I'm literally, I'm loving this. Now, let's talk numbers.
Yeah.
Our audience is just want to know. Things can go wrong. Things can go right. Now, what's in it? Like someone who wants to jump into HMO or service accommodation or whatever it is, rent in general. How profitable is the business model?
Very profitable, actually. Very, very profitable. So just taking a step back, I feel like what's happened and what's putting a lot of people off, I think at the moment, to get into the business is this energy crisis. And the energy crisis affected our business massively.
Yeah.
And I realised before I wasn't really managing the bills properly because everything was right. It was making profit.
Yeah.
So I wasn't really keeping an eye on it. Whereas now, I'm all over it. I'm all over the bills. So if you're going to get into it, if you want to be profitable, you have to be all over the bills. And at the end of the day, the tenant's not paying for it. You're paying for it. And the issue that you've got is it could be the hottest day of the year. And this is actually a true story. I've been to a property on the hottest day of the year when it was like, I'm sure it was like touching 30 degrees. The house was like a sauna.
Oh my God.
And do you know what the tenants do? Rather than going downstairs and switch off the thermostat, all you do is just twist it,
Open the windows.
Open the windows. The windows, like you could literally jump for the windows. It was that wide open. That's what they do because guess what? They ain't paying for it. So they don't care. But you do because it's coming out of your pocket. So you've got to put all the measures into it to ensure it's profitable. So we make, on average, per property, on a 6-bed property, we always look to make about £750 to £800 profit. That's
in your area where you're based in Wolverhampton.
Yeah. But the thing is, with HMOs, the mod. So with the strategy rent to rent, I'd say the strategy works if your rooms are full. You cannot have empty rooms. I do not accept empty rooms.
Yeah.
We they're fully let, like 380 rooms now. We'll be with the rooms that we're currently onboarding now. We will surpass the 400 mark, but we haven't they're not onboarded yet. But the rooms that we've currently got that are ready and all good, they're fully let. We're just on it. So one of the things I would say for anyone looking to get into it, because everyone talks about getting the properties, but you've really got to understand how do you find tenants and how do you close tenants as well. That is crucial because if you don't understand how to find tenants and close tenants, all you're doing is just taking on a bad debt essentially.
Yeah.
So that is really crucial.
Wow, that's 700. Between 700 to 850.
800, yeah.
That's after all bills, all costs.
Yeah.
I understand. It has been quite horrible for me as well to try and manage all the bills. So I'm not sure if you have used this system before where you actually, try to control the bills a certain way. Let's talk about that in a minute. So how different was it before we had the inflation of bills and after the inflation of bills?
Oh, massive.
Is the money...
Yeah, it was because of the amount of rooms. This is how crazy it is. It actually, the energy crisis overnight, it basically nearly cost my business £7,000 per month.
Wow.
Yeah. It was a lot of money. So I had to really think on my feet of how, and you know what, again, going back to that thing, responsible and accountable.
Yep.
I blame myself for that, because if I'm honest with you, we didn't really do the work beforehand. We was letting the tenants had access to the boiler. The boilers wasn't, but because energy prices, it wasn't really a big issue. We used to make, regardless of even when the bills went up, we were still making like $750. You know, it wouldn't make a massive impact. But then overnight, when the bills tripled, it was like, wow.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, we've certainly got to do something now. So what we had to do straight away, we had to say, okay, we have to take access of the tenants. So rather than having like the little twist things, not the thermostat, the little cheap ones, they're not the best anyway. We then changed it so every single property overnight had wireless thermostats.
Yeah.
Where only I have access. And then guess what happened though? You can override it. So I thought that this hasn't solved the problem, because all it was doing is turn it back up. So there's something called a Thermostat Guard.
Yeah.
That you can get them from Amazon, and they're about £25-30.
Oh.
Yeah. And what this Thermostat Guard has is a lock on it. So the tenants can't. It has vents on it as well, so it obviously still does its purpose.
Right.
So put the Thermostat Guard over the thermostat, and it has a key and a lock on. You have the key for it, or the team, and so that then prevents the tenants from having access to it. And obviously, then we put a camera. We've got cameras in all the houses now as well, so you know any sort of tampering, we can sort of get that as well.
Yeah.
The other thing that we've done as well that we implemented is infrared lights in the communal areas as well. Because another issue you have with HMOs, again, because you've got to think these tenants are not paying for it, so they'll just literally abuse the electricity in the house as well. So all the if you could drive past any house, I'm sure you've done this before, drive past your house and it could be like broad daylight, it could be, I've driven past houses like, you know, I've ended up driving past it like late at night, probably like 2 a.m.
Yeah.
And on all the lights are still on in the house. I'm thinking, I know like everyone's in bed, but because no one thinks about it. So having automatic sensors in all the communal areas, even the kitchen.
Yeah.
And with the kitchen we put it on a little bit longer. It's been a game changer. So that has been the main thing that I've done. So wireless thermostats, thermostat guards, and then
Censored lights.
Censored lights, and that has helped reduce the bills. It's still obviously higher, but I think a lot of it is I'm paying back some from when it was mismanaged from before as well.
Yeah.
So I think I am paying a little bit over the odds, but you know the business is still making money. It's still profitable. But here's the thing though, because everyone else is in the same position, rent prices have gone up massively. So for instance, in Wolverhampton, where I'm based, rent prices beforehand were like on average about $380.
Yeah.
This year, so this was like 2021. Last year it went up by to $480. It's gone up £100. But my rooms, I always try and stay in at least the top 5% in the city. We do our rooms to a very nice standard. We don't cut corners. We do it to a very high standard. Change the carpets and put good furniture in there. And it always pays off because you get a better client who's willing to pay a little bit more. It's going to cause you less stress as well. Yeah. And overall, it works better. And also, that's one of the reasons why we never have empty rooms, because we do it to such a high standard.
Yeah.
So it pays off. So we've put in all the extra measures in, and also with the inflation of the rooms, and we're still in profit anyway. So we're still actually making. In fact, we're probably making a little bit more than what we did before.
Beautiful. Because now everything is in control, isn't it?
Yeah.
Something I've experienced. I've experienced the same thing, the exact same thing. We're in the same industry. That's what we do for a living.
Yeah.
Something the audience might also benefit from is that I have given them the responsibility to take care of their own bills right now.
Okay. How have we done that then?
So basically, everything was included in the past.
Yeah.
Everything, like all the bills, gas, electricity, water, internet, whatever it is, but not anymore. So what I've done, I've gone to the house just the same way you've done. Found everything on. All the heaters in the kitchen, in the living room, in the bathrooms, windows wide open. And you're like, what the fuck, I'm paying for this just because it says in your contract that you can do that. I mean, all the bills are included. Doesn't mean you can abuse. So I've warned them once. I've warned them twice. Like, listen, nicely, can you please use these responsibly? If you're not in the property and you're not really using the heaters, please turn them off. When you're walking out, just turn the lights off. As simple as that. it's if you were paying for the bills, how would you feel?
Exactly.
So I would always prompt them with this. And then the second time, like, look, it got to a point where I cannot tolerate this anymore, because it looks to me, or it sounds to me like you don't care. And because you don't care, if you want to renew your contract, unfortunately, your bills are not going to be included.
Yeah.
I can still pay for your gas. I can still pay for your water and internet and council tax, whatever it is, but not for your gas and electricity.
Nice, yeah.
If you were paying £50 for that, I'm happy to reduce the £50, but then from now on, you pay for the bills.
Yeah.
I'll give you the bills in all your names, but I'm not renewing the contract.
But how do you structure it, like the bills, when it's like a HMO, it's multiple tenants? How do you do that?
Oh yeah, but they pay for it. They pay for the bill. It's in their contract. In their contract, it says we're responsible for all the bills except gas and electricity.
Okay.
And then to the company, I will just send the company the names of the people who are responsible to pay for it.
Yeah. Okay,
so now they're actually blaming each other for leaving this on or leaving that on.
And then whose bank account will it come out of? How does that work?
It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
You can just pay the company direct. There's different ways, right?
You can always do a prepayment meter as well, can't you?
When they pay, yes, of course. When we have that, it's easier.
It's
easier.
It's even easier.
But if we have the bill they can just send a direct debit, or they can choose
between
whichever way they want to do it.
I like
it's
that.
really up to them.
Yeah, I like that.
But
so, one more thing I forgot to mention as well that I've implemented. I've actually implemented a fair usage policy.
Yeah.
As well, so I've said, like, look, I will be responsible for X amount, depending on how much the house is. This is what I will be responsible for.
Yeah.
If the gas and electric goes over this amount, then I'm basically invoicing you.
Yeah.
And you have to sign. Yeah, I've got a separate contract for that, and I have to sign it as well. And one of the things that I do now as well, since I had this nightmare tenant, I probably say like 90% of my tenants, 90% of my new tenants anyway, they've got guarantors.
Yeah.
So there's no messing about with payments. And then if the bills go over and you don't want to pay, okay, we'll get your guarantor involved. So it just mitigates that risk as well of dealing with this nightmare. Because it's true, like, they will abuse it, and it's not nice.
It's not nice,
Because
no.
at the end of the day, you run the business, you spent a lot of money, you need to make a profit, you've got big overheads, your landlord wants his rent regardless. So you've got to make things happen.
Well, look, I personally have lived in a shared accommodation before, way back in 2016, 2017. I was sharing with another couple in the property, and we never really had this issue.
Yeah.
I don't remember that I've ever blamed them for leaving things on, or they blame because we're responsible adults,
exactly,
and we care. You know,
you wasn't abusing it.
It just makes sense. It's just our human nature, but I don't know how some people are still not. Well, I think if we just keep on talking, we're not going to stop. All the years of experience that we have, I'm sure we're not going to stop. But I prepared something for you.
Okay.
We have this thing in our show, in our podcast, that we play a game with our guest.
Okay.
So today's game, we try to keep different games to different guests.
Okay.
In today's game, I felt like maybe you're a bit of a good singer, maybe you're not. I don't know.
I'm an absolutely shocking singer.
Well, you play the drums, right?
I play drums, but that's all I can. I can play a beat for you. But singing, it's not my best thing. I'll be honest with you. In fact, I can't sing.
Let's test those skills. So the game is to see if you recognize any of these people. Okay.
I want to be shocking at this.
So I'm going to show you pictures of not really celebrities, like could be influencers, celebrities, podcasters, singers, regardless. It doesn't really matter.
Okay.
Of when they were younger.
Okay.
If you recognize them, you don't have to sing.
Yeah.
If you don't recognize them, you can choose any song.
You just want to embarrass me now, don't you?
Well, no one walks out of this door. I'm sure our audience is just gonna love this. Before we play the game, I just want to tell you guys that this show gets bigger and bigger with your support. And if you don't give us a subscribe, we don't know what you like. We don't know what you don't like. We're trying to bring you the best of our guests, people who have made it in business, people who have achieved success, people's journey has been a little bit similar to yours. I'm sure you can relate to many of our guests. So give us a subscribe. Follow us on all our social media platforms. We are on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, you name it, we're on there, right? And if you're listening to us through our audio podcast platforms, make sure you check us out on all the other platforms as well. Without any further ado, let's play the game. If you have any questions for Shaun or any other guest, drop them down in the comment section and we'll make sure we will answer them in the next episodes. So let's get back to you, Shaun. For our viewers, what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom the picture later on, once I do the editing. But let's start with this one. I am sure you might know this. It's a man, by the way.
Gosh, like, can I have a clue or something? Or
yes, he's a podcaster. He's now an influencer.
Gary V?
No, he used to be Sikh.
Oh, Jay Shetty.
Yes, Jay Shetty. Okay, I didn't let you go with that one. It's Jay Shetty. Okay, so you must know this one, of course.
Will Smith.
Will Smith. Yeah, there you go. Dun, dun. Okay, let's see.
Oh man.
Preparing any song?
Oh, you got a clue?
I'm not going to tell you anything.
Oh man.
No.
That's a tough one, man. Like,
it is, right?
It's a girl, yeah?
It's a girl.
I'm trying to think. Come on, you must give me a little. It's a little clue.
I'll show you another picture of her.
Okay.
Another picture of her.
Don't have a clue.
You don't have a clue?
Never seen it before in my life.
Oh, really? I'm sure you've seen it. You've seen her quite a lot. Well, what song?
What's her name?
I'm not going to tell you. You have to sing fast.
I can't sing. I've done
anything.
You know what? I'm gonna sing the lovely song that everyone knows. It's called Twinkle Little Star.
All right, go ahead.
I've never seen if I can try and remember it, actually. Okay. I'm giving you one line and that's it.
Good.
Okay, maybe make sure my throat's cleared first. Okay, is everyone ready, yeah?
Man like Shaun.
I can't do it.
Go on.
Oh, I'm only singing this because my daughter loves to sing, so don't judge me. Okay.
All right, I'll sing with you. Go on.
Okay. Twinkle,
twinkle little star,
how I wonder what you are.
Oh my God, this is gonna be a clickbait.
I can't believe you made me do this, man.
You know what? I'm gonna share this tonight on my Instagram.
Oh man,
it's Kate Middleton.
Kate Middleton.
It's Kate Middleton.
I would never have guessed that. Oh, I can see it now. Yeah, I can see it.
It is Kate Middleton. Okay, let's choose another one. I'm sure you will know this one. Seriously.
I can't think.
Another picture of her?
Yeah, go on, show me another one. That was even worse.
I'm sure you know this one. More than you know Kate Middleton. You probably listen to her every single morning.
Really?
Yes.
What did she do?
Okay, you have to sing. Okay, a Beyonce song or anything, or a Stormzy song. This is Oprah Winfrey.
Oh, Oprah.
Yes.
Oh, man, I missed that one. Man, she looks different, man.
I can't believe it.
Did the other guest sing as well? Did the other guest sing?
Well, if you want me to sing, I'll sing. But this is your show.
Oh, man, I haven't got another song, you know.
You don't listen to radio?
I do, yeah. But I don't think I'm a drummer, so I listen to the music.
Even worse, you're a drummer who doesn't know songs.
I'm trying to think.
What songs do you play when you drum?
I play all sorts.
Go ahead then. Anyone.
I You know what? I can't
Quick,
think.
quick.
Just give me something to sing.
Listen, don't turn this back to me, yeah?
I genuinely can't think of a song.
Do you know any trap songs? I don't know. Michael Jackson. We are the world. Go on.
I don't know the lyrics. I genuinely can't think of a song.
I'll let you go off with this one. Just this one. Just this one. You better think of another. I know how horrible you are now. It's crazy to see how horrible you are. So think of a song right now. Okay, so I'm sure you will know this one. Very controversial.
Andrew Tate.
Yeah. But you would have known. I didn't say.
Yeah.
You would have known.
He looks different on that one.
He does. Yes. It's. There's another picture of him. I thought I might just show you this one first. But
Yeah.
knowing you now, probably wouldn't have even known this one. Okay. So let's do. Oh, one of my favorites.
Oh, looks familiar.
Yes.
I'm trying to think, man. That looks really familiar.
Right. By the time we're filming this, yesterday he interviewed Sadiq Khan.
Interviews?
Yesterday.
Oh, Stephen Butler.
Stephen Butler.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, man. I think that face looks familiar.
Yes. Okay, so how about this? Prepared any song?
I was hoping that was the last one.
Nope. Any song? Because I know you're not going to recognize this one.
Oh man, you're setting me up now. I haven't got a song, you know. But let me see if I can get it first, and then.
I knew.
Who is that?
Very, very well known. Look, I've only chosen people who are.
Gosh, can you tell me and show me another picture, please?
Let's see.
Nah, the pictures. I can't buy that one. That one's blurry.
Yeah. We get back to the other one.
Oh.
Any song?
A clue? Give me a little clue.
If I give you a clue, you'll just recognize it straight
I
away.
won't, you know. I don't forget. I can't even picture who he is. I haven't got like even an inkling, like, you know, like with Stephen, like I said, you know what, like,
Yeah.
sort of seen the face before, but
Yeah. Do you know? He's a huge speaker. Huge speaker. Try to remove the hair, like the fringe.
A huge speaker. Oh man. Like what's like entrepreneurship or business or
Yes, entrepreneurship, business, sing a song. Don't change the topic now.
Oh man.
Another nursery rhyme if you want. The title would be Shaun Davis, the king of nursery rhymes.
Man, I don't know why I can't think of a song.
What do you listen to? What type of songs do you listen to?
It's like R&B basically.
Yeah?
Yeah, like I just don't know, like, you know what, Usher.
Go on.
Usher. You got it bad.
These are two words. I need to
Okay. You got it bad. When you're on the phone, hang up and you call right back.
Can you do that again, please?
No, I'm not doing it again.
I want to take a video.
Nah, I'm done now.
All right, that's Tony Robbins.
Man, he looks different, man. I
Yeah.
thought his nose was straighter than that. That is mad.
It's Tony Robbins.
That is mad.
It's crazy, isn't it? All right, shall we do one last one?
Go on then.
One last one. Okay. Who should we choose? Yeah, there you go. She's a singer, just to help you out. She has very high
Ariana Grande.
notes. Oh, how did you know that?
I don't know, but just like I just thought to myself, she looks familiar, man.
Yes, that's Ariana Grande. Oh, shame.
Happy I got off, man. I just think to myself, I can't sing another song, so I just have to guess it.
Well, good guess. Honestly, good guess.
Gosh, got me sweating now.
But Shaun, you can't sing to save your life.
I'm told you I'm bad.
Can't
sing.
sing.
Just edit them ones out. Edit that out of the video.
Definitely gonna be on it. Like, we're gonna show how bad you are.
I'm a shocking singer, man.
Title's gonna be "Can't sing to save his life." Well, I hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was good fun.
Some of these people, are very, very inspiring.
Yeah.
Some of them are podcasters. Some of them are influencers. Some of them have spoken the truth. Some of them are very controversial. We don't all agree with them, and maybe we do. So who's the one that actually marked your life? One of
out of them people.
Could be these. It could be someone else. Someone that you listen to quite a lot.
You know, I listen to Stephen Bartlett quite a lot. I think his story is really inspiring. Andrew Tate, actually. Andrew Tate, when you listen to his long form content, some of the stuff, don't get me wrong, some of the stuff I don't agree with, but a lot of the stuff he says about life and business is true. Like, he talks about like men being soft and men being weak, and that is true. Like, a lot of men these days are weak, and everyone gets offended really easy these days. And I do believe like men need to be men.
Needs to be men.
Yeah.
I totally agree with you. I also like what he says.
Yeah.
I don't know. So many people just don't agree with him, and for XY reasons.
Yeah.
But I feel like there's so many truth behind of what he says, regardless 100%. Of the way he says things. Yeah. I mean, the context of, people are looking for the drama, people are looking for the clicks, people are looking for the likes. So they take a 5-10 seconds video and then just put it to go viral. Yeah. Whereas when you look at the big picture and you listen to the long story, you realize that he's making sense.
He's making sense, 100%. But as he says, like, a lot of people, they take short form content and they get, a lot of people have... a lot of things can be perceived differently, a different perception, rather than you understanding the context of it as well. Yeah. I think another one's Will Smith.
Yeah.
Game, like, I grew up on Fresh Prince.
Oh,
I love that show. I've watched every episode probably like a million times. And also as well, his memoir, it's one of the best I've read. Like, it was such an inspiring story to understand what he was doing before Fresh Prince as well, because he's got a massive story before that. And he's all success. And you know what I love about you look at these people, and I've never been the sort of person to idolize people, but a lot of people idolize these people. But when you really understand their story, you understand that, they're just like us. Like, they have the same issues, the same flaws, and everyone is fighting their own battles, and everyone's is on this personal development journey to sort of better themselves as well. And but you've got to be willing to put the work in, and that's the thing, that there's no magic formula. You've got to be willing to get up and put the work in on yourself in order to become a better person.
Do you think it plays a big role in being a successful businessman?
Yeah.
Or business person
100%.
in general?
100%. What, in terms of, what was it, in terms of?
Being a good person and... Yeah,
definitely. I feel like for me, it's really changed who I am as a person. It's helped me. I have to understand myself. I have to manage my emotions. I'm leading the team, so sometimes when I'm having a bad day, I've just got to suck it up and just think to myself, I can't be. Energy is contagious. It's so contagious, and what I always remember in my head is that your team is only as good as your leader.
That's true. Yeah,
that's in any organisation. So the school that I went to, it was such a good school growing up. When I left, it all went down. But actually, what happened was
only because you left.
Only because I left. What happened was the head teacher retired. It was one of the best schools in the city. The head teacher retired. It had the same staff, same pupils, but it just went downhill because the leader went. And it's the same with any, it could be like a religious, like a church as well. As soon as that leader leaves, same people, goes downhill. Yeah. And it's definitely the same in the business as well. So I'm very in tune with myself and very in tune with my emotions. And I'm very intentional when I do things as well, because you've got to be, when you're leading a team, you're responsible, and also what business has helped me become is more accountable and responsible for my own actions. That is the key, because it's very easy to point. And I always say, like, if you're pointing, if I put one finger to you, I've got three fingers pointing back to me.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of time we always look to put the blame on other people. Oh, it was so and so's fault. This is why that happened. That's why that happened. We don't look at what we could do, and that's why a lot of people, they struggle to grow, because they're too busy trying to control other people. But the issue is I can't control what you do.
Yeah.
But I can control my own thoughts, my own actions.
Yeah.
So that's what I focus on. That's what I have in my power. So that's what I try and develop on a daily basis.
I love that. I love that. Well, thank you very much for being here. Before
Pleasure.
we leave, I just want you to share one last thing with our audience.
I'd say just be your authentic self. I think that's so important. I feel like, on social media, especially, and in the world we live in, you watch people and you think, you can just tell, like, you're trying to be like X, or you're seeing like a influencer or celebrity, and you can just tell, like, they're trying to be too much like them. And I always say as well, like, it's mad where there's not one DNA. There's billions of people on this planet. No one has the same DNA. So we all have a different purpose. We all have different values, and there's only one Shaun Davis. No one can be me better than me. Like, so if I go and try and be and replicate someone else, what God has in for me in sort of my purpose and the plans for me, I'm going to end up missing out on that opportunity because I'm too busy trying to be someone else. Yeah. Whereas if I was just to hone in on my own purpose and my own authenticity and project that out, I'm going to be unique, and no one's realistically is going to be able to compete with that, because what you're getting is what you're getting, essentially. So I would say that. I say be authentic. Remember, people buy from you because of you. Yeah. As well. So when you're authentic, it shows, and that's been massively how I've been able to close deals and build a relatively good business because of my authenticity. People buy from me because of who I am as well, and they want to do business with me as well. So I'd say that's the biggest piece of advice I'd have.
Beautiful. So if we want to do business with you, how are we going to reach out to you?
Easiest way is probably social media. Like my Instagram handle is @Shaun @Shaun_ Davis Davis.
Perfect. So that's the social media is the best source of, and you're offering mentorships as well.
Yeah, I do mentorship. I've got an academy. It's called the High Performance Academy.
Yeah, you're teaching people how to get into HMOs and
but it's not just about property though. It's the slogan of it is elevate your mind, health and wealth, because a lot of the time people, they miss out the foundation of it all. So they miss out the mindset and the personal development. And that's what I'm really big on, because it's so many times people say, Shaun, there's no properties out there, or I'm struggling with this, I'm struggling with that. And when I talk to them, I can always relate it back to the lack of mindset. It's always the mindset. It's never about the deals are always out there. There's always someone out there who's smashing it and finding deals, but you're not. The reason why you're not is because your mindset's not in the right place. You maybe haven't built that resilience, the consistency, the persistence, maybe getting negged out. Yeah. So a change of mindset. I always say, when you change the way you look at things begin to change. And if you have a different mindset, a different perception, you see things differently. It builds that resilience, and you're able to then go out there and as a result, close more deals. So that's the way. I do have a rent to rent HMO course as well. I only do like 4 times a year. I teach that live at my HQ based in Wolverhampton as well. Nice. Yeah. Beautiful. Well, thank you very much for sharing all that with us. I loved it. Unfortunately, it's we're very limited with time. Yeah. But we'll definitely call you for maybe a catch up soon. Definitely. We're gonna have lots of these kind of episodes, because I like talking about property. I like just sharing the knowledge, and that's what we do. I mean, we're sharing it with people so that they know they're not alone in this journey, 100%. Right? And they learn from our mistakes, and they don't reinvent the wheel. Yeah. So thank you very much again for accepting to be here on the show with me. That was Hajar Beyaz on the Diaries of Success. I'll see you guys in the next episode.